This is gonna be my post-credit scene. And honestly, this is me saying this is gonna be my post-credit scene is gonna be my cold open. Hello, Star Boys. Remember this old thing I was putting all my wax equipment on? Well, I'm going to refurbish it into a real display case. I've been meaning to do this for a while, and I just kept putting it off, and it took me a long time. But I finally did it, so here we go. This is an old letter drawer. Back in the day, printing presses had to keep the letters that they put into the printing press somewhere, so they put them in these, and they had like a ton of them. The little ovals in the back on some of those spaces are company logos, and that's where they kept the company logo that they put in the printing press when they were using it in the newspaper. Right here I'm using just water and an X-Acto knife because there's paper on the back of every panel and it's all like moldy. That black you see, that black and gray, that's not the original color of that paper, and it's gross, very gross. So I just wet a sponge and then I would wet the water. Very good. I'm bad at voiceover. I'm very bad at voiceover. Oh my god. I'm just wetting the sponge and putting water into each compartment and then using the X-Acto knife to remove the paper. I also used an X-Acto knife to pick up each company plate without damaging it because I wanted to use it later because I think they look cool. I've recorded a lot of the cleanup process, so I'm going to tell a story over part of it. Not all of it, but just part of it. I feel like this is a story that, you know, people might find interesting. It's relatable and a little bit scary for spooky season. I've been getting a lot of robot calls, like a lot of robot calls. Like I know everyone is getting a lot of robot calls on their cell phone, but I feel like mine have been increasing exponentially and they have been becoming bizarre and even kind of sinister. Let me explain. So I have a robot that answers my phone for me. So I have a robot that can talk to the robots that call me. It's a screening service from Google. It comes with my phone, and it's just you hit a button, and it picks up the phone. It says like, "Hi, the person you've reached is using a screening service from Google, blah, 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 blah. Please state why you called." And then if it's not a robot, I can hit a button and answer the phone. But a couple of weeks ago, I started getting calls that were kind of scary. The robot service would go, and it would say its little message, and then the response would be something like, "Stay inside," and then it would hang up. And I have screenshots of this, and I'll put them up on the screen. I've gotten a lot of these. I stopped taking screenshots of the transcript at some point, but I got more than these two, but they're all pretty much the same, like this weird, ominous message. And then eventually I got like a super bizarre one from Build-A-Bear Workshop, which I managed to screenshot while the call was happening. I don't think it was actually Build-A-Bear, but it was warning me that my warranty was up or something, and what even? I just wanted to share this with you guys because it's kind of scary, a little weird. So let me know if you guys have gotten any weird robot calls. Maybe it's not just me. Maybe it's not just the robots are targeting me in particular, but the robot uprising has finally started and it's going to begin with them giving us ominous calls. Let me know if you've gotten any really scary robot calls lately because they seem to be getting very strange. I like this part. This is one of my favorite parts because all the little cubbies, the paper comes out of them really easily. And so I get like the whole sheet. I just found it very satisfying. I hope you found it satisfying. I mean, one of the reasons I left in so much of the cleanup process footage is because of how satisfying I found it. And I thought maybe, you know, you guys would find it satisfying. So the next part here is water mixed with Murphy's oil soap, and I just used a sponge and I washed out every compartment, and then I eventually washed the whole like front, all the edges of each compartment and like the frame, because this letter drawer was nasty. I got it from a flea market. It had been sitting around in the flea market for probably quite some time, and who knows where it was before it ended up at the flea market. You'll see as you watch that it was dirty and it's very gross. And I just like had my stuff sitting on it without having washed it or refurbished it for like quite a while, and it didn't occur to me at the time that maybe I shouldn't have done that because it was covered in dirt and grime and probably mold. Next, I grabbed some tin snips. Tin snips are like scissors for metal. And then I made a plan, or I convinced myself that I had made a plan that was definitely going to work. Then I proceeded to do things you would do if you had a plan that you definitely think is going to work, like use a ruler. You know, rulers are involved in plans that work. Many mistakes were made while executing this plan, like dropping my camera. What video of mine would be complete without me dropping something, like my camera? You know, I really thought I was onto something, but I wasn't. I was so proud of myself for thinking ahead and making a plan, but it didn't really work out. So then you move on to plan B, that you make up right then when plan A fails. Cut them into weird shapes because you can't cut a straight line. You can't cut a straight, that one's pretty straight. That one's not straight. Look at that curve. And then you keep all the little pieces on your bed, all the little sharp metal pieces, you put them on your bed. You take these little like weird pieces and they fit in here, but they look cool. Like, oh, doesn't fit in that one. Oopsie. Well, that one doesn't fit. Okay, so now you take the weird shapes and you put them in there, but they look cool. And the stamp magnet is never going to reach those corners, so you really only need it in the middle. Yeah, mistakes were made. Maybe I shouldn't have done that on my bed. But once you come up with a suitable alternative plan that you convince yourself is okay, you move on to sanding each metal plate, which I did not record because the sound was absolutely awful. But you need to sand each plate in order to give it a surface area that the glue can grab onto. Otherwise, there's a very good chance your metal plates will just pop right off. For this part, I used 5-minute 2-part epoxy, and I also didn't record myself gluing them all on because that was very messy and I didn't want to get glue on my camera. grab all the handles you own from buying too many stamps. Except for a handful of unique handles that you keep because you like them and you want to use them. Then you grab an Allen wrench, key tool, Allen wrench? I don't know construction. And a vice grip. That one I know what it's called. It's a vice grip. Makes it grip good. And you remove the screws from your handle. You use the vice grip if it's like roll stuck. Roll stuck. Then you look down at the box of empty husks you created after removing their purpose. Now they're just wood. Just wood. What are they even good for? The answer is burning. I burned them all. I burned every one of them. It was fun. Next, you have to make sure your work area is set up so that you don't get glue on anything, because like I said, I'm a disaster and I make horrible messes. But also, the types of glue I'm going to be using from now on in the video are even more powerful than the glues I used before. Well, at first I tried to use the same glue, the same 2-part 5-minute epoxy, and yeah. This just led to the second disappointment of this project. And by second, I mean like 500th disappointment. So you jump online and you do some research and come up with a plan B, which is much better than your plan A, which is how it usually goes for me. JB Weld is a type of 2-part epoxy that has steel in it, like steel powder. It was actually designed to be a cold weld. It was supposed to replace welding when you couldn't use like heat to weld for real. And the really cool part of that is because it has steel powder in it, is magnetic. So it goes to, it's, I don't know, it's incredibly satisfying. It's possibly one of my favorite things to do now. Not that I have a reason to do it anymore. Good slush. And then you have to clean it up and make sure it's touching all the parts you need it to touch so that when it sets, it stays. And let me tell you, does it ever stay? That stuff is strong. It takes forever to set. It's not 5 minutes. It's like, I think 5 or 10 hours for the initial set and then 24 hours for the full hardening. And then you proceed to move forward with a plan you've convinced yourself is gonna work. And you behave like you are doing your plan correctly, which includes using a ruler. But this time, it does work, I think. Seems to have worked so far. Nothing has fallen apart yet. I cut the grating with the tin snips, and it was a lot harder than I anticipated, and it made my hand sore. But once you're done, you bend it and put it in place and press down and pressure holds it in. So you create a little gate, a little like safety gate so that you can put things in there that aren't magnetic. And then you realize that your magnets are very strong, but also very brittle. And when they snap against things that they are attracted to, it can cause them to chip. You discover that many of your magnets are already chipped, and that is bad. So you go out to the craft store wearing your mask because you are responsible, and you buy some foam. And also a specifically sized hole punch that you're never going to use for any other project again, so it seems like a waste, but you like hole punches. The first time I tried this, for some reason, I used fabric glue. I don't even know what I was on at the time. Like, I must have been super out of it because fabric glue is not going to work. I thought to myself, well, it's flexible and it stays flexible, so that means that it won't crack on impact. But it also meant that the little circles don't stay on the magnets. I don't show it on camera, but I ended up using a super glue, a Gorilla super glue, that says Impact Tough. And it's designed to take impact, so I could like let my magnets go poop onto the metal plates and let go of them, and it wouldn't crack. So once I had everything glued together, I painted them for aesthetic purposes because they looked like crap. I painted them black, and I think it turned out okay. The ones I make here on screen, they look worse than the ones I made later because I had more to make. The ones I make on screen were not enough. I own too many stamps, but these came out okay, and painting definitely helped cover up the ugly. Here are all my ugly boys. Look at my ugly boys. They're ugly but helpful. And then finally, remember the nameplates for the companies from earlier? You take those and you super glue them back on for aesthetic purposes because it's neat. And then you demonstrate. This is how it works. Poop. Poop. I think that's everything. I think I recorded everything. Maybe. I might have to record stuff later as I'm editing. Because I forgot. I forget a lot of things. Most things. How do I even know who I am anymore at this point? I don't even know. You want to do the honor so I can record it?
Let me know when I'm good to drop.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you want me to go fast or slow?
Slow, so we don't accidentally spread. Yeah. You're more flame retardant than I expected.
Yeah.
There we go.
Got him.
Forest people. I don't know what those are lacquered with or how they're treated, so, you know.
Everything burns if it gets hot enough.
I meant more for health safety concerns.
I mean, we
truth.
I think that ship has sailed. Yeah, definitely, like, try to avoid breathing this, because this is like the lacquer smoking.
Well, I can't really avoid it, so I'm just gonna have to,
Okay, well, you could
suffer.
switch seats. You could come sit over here.
But I have a good angle.
Tommy, don't die for the gram.
Cinematography. It's not for the gram, it's for the TikTok. I would do it for the Vine if Vine existed.
Yeah.
This is my masterpiece. This is my cinematography, cinematographer, cinnamon bun masterpiece.
Yeah.
Cinemasterpiece.
Uh-huh.
I am a master of words. Oh, that one that's all burned, it looks all shriveled. Like a old pickle.
Ew.
Yeah, ill. Pickles are gross. Oh, it's making like almost greenish flames. The camera's catching the color really well. This is definitely toxic.
Oh, yeah. Should not be breathing this.
It's not the most toxic thing I've probably breathed. With all the experiments I did. I started this project. This isn't the direction I saw it going.
Do you mean the whole wax endeavor altogether?
I mean, yeah, now that I think of it, but no, I meant the display case. I didn't see it going to fire. But I guess considering it's me,
Yeah.
I should have expected it.
Sets on fire eventually.
Everything I play with, yeah.